Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, November 8th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. Couple of quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, ticker symbol CDIO. Absolutely monster move today. It's already been making really good moves, but I'm going to think that not that long ago this thing was down in the 20-cent range, and now, today is pushed up over the $1.50 range. So updates certainly need to be done. Going to go ahead and get rid of those levels as they serve their purpose for now. And the first level that maybe you already, noticed this right away, but that stands out, I think, like a sore thumb right up here at this area of resistance at the $1.65 mark. Going through things, you can see rejected the price, rejected, and even the last 30 minutes right there has rejected the price. So very clearly there are quite a few sellers up around that area. Does not mean that the price can't be broken, but it does seemingly mean that there are a lot of sellers up there right now, and that if the price is going to break up through that level, then the prices really need to bring its A game to be able to push up through that level. In terms of areas of support, you're going to put a trend line here in a play for this one. So get that in a play, change that to green to represent more of the support. And to me, that is an interesting area if there is any sort of pullback. And then just from a pattern standpoint, change this to one color, make it easier to see. So resistance, support, nice upwards move right there. Put the golf down here, make it a little bit more visual for you golfers. And this is what I'd call a bull pennant pattern. So however you want to call it, bull pennant pattern. Maybe you just want to focus on that area of resistance, whatever best makes sense in your mind. But the point here being, huge volume, nice price movement, nice little pattern here. So does this carry on into Wednesday? We'll see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol PXMD. Nice way to start off the day. Gap up, nice 30 minutes, but then quite the nasty pullback here. But even so, the price is still setting up for a potentially interesting dynamic here, assuming you like to play these situations where things are starting to look pretty rough. I like to call them, there can be opportunity in the ugly, and there's no doubt about it. The chart is starting to look a bit ugly as it's just continued to pull back. But maybe you've already noticed where I may be headed here. But check out this area down here. A couple of key moving averages basically right at the same level. The pink line on my chart denoting the famous 200-period moving average. Purple line there being the 50-period moving average. And, now it's just a question of, can you get a little bit more of a pullback for the price to come down here and get some sort of bounce? Now, we need to very much so clarify, just because these are famous, well-known moving averages does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to bounce. My point here is that it becomes plausible. It becomes reasonable to think that if the price comes down there, it could create some sort of bounce from that area. So keep an eye on that. So yes, overall, in my opinion, this is all about a pullback. You need this thing to pull back a bit more. And if it does, do you get some sort of bounce? Then, that could be a very nice risk versus reward scenario. Next one here, SNTI, and another penny stock. I say another penny stock. I forget that CDIO is no longer a penny stock. But let's just map out the pattern here. Got some very well-defined levels. So we have that area of resistance right there. We have our area of support. Let me change that to green and then make this. I'm going through this one a little quicker because I've already said all this stuff, so I don't want to waste your time. I just repeat myself. So resistance, support, huge explosion right there. For you golfers, put the golf hole down there, golf hole down there. So this would be another bull pennant pattern. No guarantees, but is it plausible to think that if the price comes up here and breaks up through that level, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a reasonable outcome, but once more, not guaranteed. Next one here, Uber, ticker symbol UBER, and very much so, I'm not trying to impress you as I put this line here, but $50, got to think a lot of people are watching it as a key potential breakout area. You can see that's where the big upward move stopped. And then afternoon, the price has just hovered right below that area. And not only that, it's just a very round number, $50. So going back to that talking topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, if there's a lot of people watching $50 and wondering the same thing, it does become reasonable that if the price were to finally be able to push up through $50, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. So in my opinion, Uber is really as straightforward as that. $50 stands out like a sore thumb. So if you like to play these potential breakouts, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, AMC, and a very rough day here as the price is now broken even down through this level right there at $10.50. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose. But first key update, based on a foundation rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce back in the upwards direction, then the big question mark, or initial question mark, I should say, is can the price get back above and stay above $10.50? And then the next level here that I would definitely consider a very, very important level from a support standpoint. I've already talked about this level once, but it's all about now that pink line there, which you now know is that 200 period moving average. So there is still some distance between the price, if the price were to go down there and test it, but it's certainly well within striking distance now. And if the price were to drop below that area, let me do this just so you can get a better context here. But dropping down below that level, that all of a sudden puts the price into this range of the chart, which you can see there aren't any data points. There are not any data points until you get back in this area all the way here. So it's basically a miniature little no man's land that you wouldn't want to see the price fall into from the bullish side of things. But again, to be fair, the price hasn't even tested that 200 period moving average, let alone broken down below it. But nonetheless, those would be the key levels to watch. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering in a couple of days here. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and not a whole lot of new things to report, at least from the resistance side of things. Assuming you watched the previous day's videos, then you know I've been talking about this 226 area up here as resistance, and you can see that nothing here has changed. I suppose the price has gotten somewhat into striking distance of it, but as far as breaking the resistance or doing battle with it, nothing like that happened today. But again, to be fair, the price does have, with a little bit of a space, just got to travel that space, and then it's doing battle with it again. But nonetheless, if the price does push upwards, 226 will be that main area of resistance. In terms of levels of support, the dynamic here to point out is that purple line, which I think I talked about in yesterday's video. I guess I don't know that for sure. But that 50 period moving average, you can see, did a beautiful job here of acting as support. In fact, let me zoom in here so you can. But I mean, check that out. Look how that purple line came down there and bounced off it, bounced off it, bounced off it, bounced off it, bounced off it. So as of right now, in the very near term, that 50 period moving average is being highly respected by the price. From more of a broader standpoint, as far as supports are concerned, the key level down there at $211. But yeah, in the near term, definitely keep an eye on that purple line. Again, 50 period moving average. Next one here, TELL, very, very impressive bounce. And when you start and think about where the price started off on the day and then how it worked its way all the way up there, I know I state the obvious when I say, yeah, that was definitely a very nice move. But is there any sort of genuine power behind this price movement? I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. In my mind, it all revolves around a single area, and that area is down here at the 56-cent mark. So let me change that to green. Why is 56 cents so important? And I'm not saying this will occur, but just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down here and then fall down below there, what would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back inside of that range that it just broke out of. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of true strength. But to be fair, no price can go straight up. So maybe the price comes down here and instead behaves like this and then starts to work its way back upwards. Now, all of a sudden, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows right there. You'd have lows down there. And if you envision each one of those as stair-steps, well, now you have stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction. And again, that's the name of the game. That's what a truly strong move is going to do. It's going to make progress. And in this situation, 56 cents is that progress point. So yes, nice bounce today. Is there any sort of genuine power behind it? Let's see if the price can show signs of progress. And the sign of progress right now being defined as 56 cents. Next one here, AMD, very, very nice day once again, has put in another higher high. A little bit of a consolidation here, but nothing drastic. In fact, I think it makes the chart look quite healthy to see the price pull back here a little bit and then just start to go sideways. Now, that doesn't mean that'll for sure guaranteed go up, but I can't imagine anybody saying this looks not healthy for you to get a nice little pullback and then sideways movement. So no need to overcomplicate this. The main level of support that in my mind, makes the most sense to watch moving forward is that purple line, which we've talked about several times now. So continue to watch that 50 period moving average. In terms of levels of resistance, a couple different ways you could look at this. If you wanted to, you could just throw a flat top resistance and say you want to play the top of that little channel right there. Maybe you want to look at it right there. Both of those, I completely see what you're saying. But I think a lot of people have also potentially drawn in just a trend line right there. And they're looking to play, basically some sort of miniature pennant pattern. So resistance, support, and something like that, give or take, a little crudely drawn, but you get the idea there. Like I said, several ways you could approach that resistance standpoint, but I'm going to approach it from more so the downwards trend line here. But overall, as long as AMD keeps on putting those higher highs, that's what matters most. Next one here, AAPL. Very, very nice move like AMD. These levels down here used to be relevant, but given the price has moved up so high, I'm going to get rid of both of those levels. So they sure do still pertain to the chart. They're just not relevant anymore. And from the presentation standpoint, I just don't want to risk causing confusion and clutter. So just to give more context here, you can see it's been a long time since the price has been up this high. But with that being said, the price is now approaching a very, very, in fact, it did approach it and it got rejected. So right here at 182.35, check it out. This is from several weeks ago. Price was up around that area and struggled. And once again, the price has struggled. So as I zoom back in, just keep in mind that that is where that red line is coming from. And you can see right there, has struggled. Now, it's not like it struggled in the sense of it hit it and then got rejected all the way back down there. That's not the type of struggle I mean. I just mean it struggled to maintain that momentum. But if the momentum picks back up and can, make it back up above on Wednesday, then that'll just illustrate that much more of how Apple is being very, very strong. And then once again, from the support standpoint, I think the easiest way to just go about this is that purple line. I mean, the purple line here done a fantastic job of just basically being a trend line. That's what I like to call moving averages, trend lines for lazy people. If you don't feel like drawing a trend line, then let the moving average draw itself for you. So as time goes by and that line moves itself higher and higher, as long as the price stays above that line, then that implies that the price itself is putting those higher lows, which is what you want. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. And it makes it a very popular ETF. So first update, just based on the rule that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So going into the day, it really has been somewhat of a stubborn level, but right up around that $38 and then $38.25-ish mark. But now that the price is above there, that would be considered an area of support. So if there is a pullback, then, if the price could, get some sort of action where it goes like that, that would certainly make the chart look by far the strongest. But even if the price drops below that level, not the end of the world, because you do still have that purple line there, not that far below it, as the next area of support. In terms of areas of resistance, needing to go back further into the chart's history here. So let's see. I got through there. So yeah, right around there at the 39.40 mark. If you go back here, you can see that there was a couple of problem areas right there. And once again, that is the problem area. I am going to add in one more though, because if the price can push up through there, the next key level up and around the 40, we'll call it $40.10 mark. So there's some room to run if this 39.40-ish area can be broken. But all in all, another good solid day for the NASDAQ. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for that free live class. It'll be in a couple days, Thursday, November 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below, tell me what you traded today, give me your watch list for tomorrow. So thanks for hanging out and watching, and go get signed up for that free class.